see. Make sure I get this thing. What's up, everyone? It is your diva and knowledge, your girl, Lady Mocha, here at Mocha's Cafe de Paris and Lounge. Want to give a shout out to all of my subscribers. Those of you who have been my day ones, have been rocking with me from day one. Those who are just coming in on board, and those who may be viewing for the first time today. Want to thank you for stopping by to view my channel, and I want to thank everybody who has been supporting me. Want to let you know I appreciate you, and thank you for dropping by and stopping on in to holler at me. I thought it was very imperative that I did a video this morning about these young mothers. What's up, Donnell? Good morning. As y'all noticed, it's been a lot of stories going on within the media lately. There was one that particularly stood out from the rest. I know if y'all didn't hear about the story by now. What's up, the boys? Good morning. I don't know if y'all heard by now, but I'm sure everyone has heard because the story has gone viral about the young lady by the name of 𝐜𝐴𝐚'𝐬 Fowler, 25-year-old woman who left her child in the car, in a hot car, for almost 5 to 6 hours just to get her hair done. This story has gone viral, and of course it has brought a lot of awareness to people in a negative manner, and it's really displaying the fact that it's a lot of these young mothers out here that are getting more worse and worse and worse with neglecting their children. And it's starting to spread like cancer. It's starting to become a disease. I'm starting to notice more and more young mothers are getting more comfortable with neglecting their children, to the point they're leaving them in hot cars, they're killing them, they're hurting them, they're injuring them. You hear stories about this every day, all day long. It's on the news, it's on YouTube. Every time you turn around, you're hearing a young black mother, she's doing something to her child. Either she's leaving her child in a hot car, either she physically injured or hurt the child because she just didn't want to be a mother anymore. We hear stories about this all the time. And what's up, Anthony? Thank you for coming in. So this is nothing new. We hear about this every day, all day, but I'm going to go ahead and just put all of you on. For those who are not aware of the situation, mother accused of leaving her baby in a car due to die while getting her hair done. Kevin McClurkin testified that 𝐜𝐴𝐚'𝐬 Fowler gave 3 false accounts of what happened before finally breaking down and telling the baby's father she'd been at the hair salon. The father, Lewis Williams, too, who was deployed in the Air Force Reserves when the child died, told police what the ex told him. Fowler was charged with second-degree murder and death of Skylar Fowler, and has been in jail without bond, which she should not be getting any bond. But the latest update is they have sentenced her to 15 years for the situation. Basically, she left this child in a car for 6 hours. I guess the only reason they did not give her life was because she did not just leave the child in there in intentions with the child dying. Basically, the way the law looked at it was, even though she left the child in the car, she did have the AC on, she did have the AC running. But what had happened though, the car had been running for so long to the point the car shut off and the battery died. Okay, so basically the way the law is looking at it, the dynamics of the law is looking at it like she didn't intentionally leave the child in there to die. But either way, it was still a very neglectful and selfish act on her part, because the child was left in there for so long to the point that even the battery had died in the car. That's how you know the child had been in that vehicle for a very, very, very long time. So it was one of those big situations where it was just a very, very selfish decision on her behalf. But it is not just her. I hear about stories like this all the time. There's also was another female too. I'm gonna see if I can pull her story up. I'm going to share my screen. Let me see if I can go ahead and share my screen with y'all. Let's see. I got so many freaking windows open. But yeah, anyway, like as I stated, this is something that goes on all the time. This is nothing new. We hear about these young hood rats, who are constantly neglecting their children because they still have this attitude where they want to do them. They want to do them, they want to do what they want to do. And a lot of them are not prepared to be no mother. They're not prepared for motherhood. A lot of them do not want to be mothers. This is the woman here. She goes by the name of 𝐜𝐴 Fowler. This is the woman who left her baby in the car seat. I mean, in a car, hot for 5 to 6 hours just to get her hair done. As you can see, she's cuffed, and they went ahead and they gave her 15 years for committing this act. So I hope the hairdo was worth it because she's not going to be getting her hair done for a very long time, apparently. And my thing is, I hope this is not the hairdo that she left her child in the car for 5 to 6 hours to get. I mean, regardless of what hairdo it is, she still should have left that child in there. But this just goes to show you guys, these young mothers out here, a lot of them will breed these children like roaches, but for the most part, a lot of them are not ready to be mothers. And that's the whole purpose of me doing this video. This is the whole purpose of me doing this content, basically stating that young mothers are like cancer to the community because they breed these children, and then when these children get here, they still have this attitude where they want to do them. By this female leaving her child in the car to get her hair done, that clearly indicates that this broad is nowhere near motherhood material. She's not a mother. She's not a mother. And the problem is, what I'm starting to notice, all of y'all, is a lot of these young mothers, they want these babies. They don't have a problem having these kids, but they still want to do them. They want to do them. They still want to live. They still want to have a life of their own. They still want to be able to go to the clubs. They still want to be able to get their hair done. They still want to be able to run the streets. They still want to be able to do them. Not understanding that if she's, once you become a mother, your whole life changes. It's not about you. It's not about what you want anymore. You can't do what you want to do. You're not going to have the same life you used to have once you have a child. And a lot of these young girls are not understanding that. Yes, the boys, I definitely hear you. I totally agree. What mother would do something like that? And that's the bottom line. It was another situation. Even though the dynamics was totally different, I'm gonna see if I can pull that up. There was this other female. She basically, she so badly couldn't deal with the pressures of being a mom. She so much couldn't deal with the pressures of being a mom that she actually put both of her children in the oven. She put her kids in the oven. I'm gonna see if I can pull this story up. It's kind of old, but it's not too old. It happened last year. Let me see if I could pull this video up for y'all right quick. Basically, I'm not going to play this whole video, but what ended up happening with this whole situation here is she tried to lie and basically, you know, state that this is a whole different case here. Let's see. Yeah, she's this female in this situation, basically she tried to lie and stated that she left her kids with her cousin. That's basically what she tried to do. She tried to state that she left them with a cousin, but come to find out, um she was the one who actually left her children. She was charged with 2 counts of murder after police say she put her 2 young sons in the oven and turned it on. The bodies of 1-year-old Jakarta Penn and 2-year-old 𝐜𝐚𝐚'𝐬 Penn was found in their apartment over the weekend. Police said they had burns on their bodies. The mother was 24-year-old Lamora Williams. Yeah, this situation actually occurred last year or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. Go ahead and get out of this here. Okay. Basically, y'all get my drift while I'm going out with this content. A lot of as basically the whole purpose of me doing this whole content, doing this recipe, this video, is just to basically to prove my point. You have a lot of these young bras out here that are breeding these babies like roaches, and they really don't want them. They're having these kids, but at the same time, they don't want to be mothers. Okay, anybody can have a child, but being a mother, that's a totally different, that's a horse of a whole nother color. Just because you're able to produce a baby, that doesn't mean you really want a child. Because what the thing about it is, a lot of these young mothers, when I say young, I'm talking about mothers under the age of 30. A lot of these young mothers, 18, 17, 18, 23, 25, 26, you know, anybody I consider under the age of 30. The problem is a lot of these young mothers is they love they love to be promiscuous. In other words, they love to have sex, but they don't want to deal with the outcome of being promiscuous, which could very well lead to you becoming a mother, you know. And that's the thing, that's the issue with these young women. They love sex, they love the screw, they love the having this promiscuous behavior, but they don't want to mother these children. That's the biggest issue. Donnell says, yeah, I agree, the boys. These women have been getting away with pure evil for too long. I totally agree, because it's starting to become a habit. It's starting to become a trend. It's a lot of these mothers, they're neglecting their children or they're killing their children. A lot of these young mothers are doing so because they really don't want these children. They don't want the responsibilities. They don't want the burden of them. Mr. Johnson says, asked me, have I heard about the mother of Miami who got so upset she killed her little girl? Nope, I haven't heard about that one, Donnell. But I'm not surprised because, you know, as I'm stating, a lot of these young mothers, man, they do not want to deal with the burdens of having these children. Because, see, it's cute, you know, at first when you have a child. You know, you getting all these compliments, everybody telling you how cute your baby is, everybody telling you how pretty your baby is, you know, having these babies. A lot of these young girls have babies as a sense of accomplishment. It makes them feel like they have accomplished something. You know what I mean? So a lot of these young females, instead of them striving to um, you know, become something, like become like a college student or become something more, you know, fulfilling. In other words, instead of them giving themselves a more fulfilling purpose, a lot of them could only feel validated. A lot of them could only feel like they accomplished something by having babies, because some of them, that's all they're good at. You have a lot of these hood rat moms, the only thing they're good at is producing children. They can't do anything else. They have no other purpose on this earth other than to produce children. And that's the only thing they're good at. Not only that, the majority of them, they have children, kids, is because of the benefits that come along with being a parent. Let's face it, a lot of these young girls, they are hip to the game with having a child. A lot of them know, as long as I have a child, I can get stamps, I can get child support, I can get WIC, I can get welfare, I can get TANF, I can get housing. A lot of these young girls, the system has given them this concept that all I have to do is breed children and I can get anything I want. But what the system does not prepare them for is the system don't help you with everything. Yes, you may get the housing, you may get the stamps, you may get the benefits, but you're still going to have to be responsible for the children that you bring in this earth, meaning that once they are here, they are yours. They are your responsibility. Child support welfare is not going to help you with but so much, because let's face it, being a parent is a very stressful job. It's stressful as hell. And what makes being a parent very stressful is when you don't have the finances, you don't have the maturity, you don't have the patience, you don't have the support system. When you're lacking in any of these areas, you you can easily become a very stressful parent. It can be very stressful being a parent if you don't have any of these things going for you. Du Bois says everyone loves sex, but how about user protection? Exactly. The world is watching the evils of these women. There's no place for them to hide. I agree, Du Bois. That's the problem. You have too many grown folks. That's when they get when they're in that moment in time, and they're getting ready to, become, they're getting ready to uh sexually engage in a sexual act. It just disturbs me how so many people, all of their common sense goes out the door. You know what I mean? You never let lust get you to that point to where you totally lose all your common sense. You don't use no protection. This is somebody that you don't want a future with. This is somebody you don't want to make a parent, because the thing about it is, once you have a child from a certain individual, that person is going to always be in your life for the rest of your life. And you have to, but before you get to that point to where you are so comfortable to laying down with this man unprotected, or laying down with this woman unprotected, you have to ask yourself, do I see myself being with this person for the rest of my life? Do I want a child from this individual? That is something you got to think about, because let's face it, everybody ain't a damn parent. Just because somebody could produce a child, that don't make them a parent. You got a lot of men out there who got a bunch of kids, but that don't mean they're fathers. And you have a lot of women, females out there who got a bunch of children, but that don't make her a mother. So the thing about it is, with these young mothers, a lot of them don't be ready for motherhood like they think they are. Because like I said in the beginning, it's cute. In the beginning, it's cute because everybody's complimenting you, complimenting your child, telling you how cute your child is. You get to buy your child all of these cute clothes, and it's like a game at first. But the thing about it is, being a mother is a blessing, but at the same time, it's a burden. When these babies, they have their own personality. These babies come here with their own personalities. They're a lot to deal with. If you don't have the mindset and you don't have the patience, you get overwhelmed very easily. Babies cry a lot. Babies demand a lot of attention. Babies are very damn expensive. They cost a lot of money. It's a lot. I mean, I think I was in Walmart the other day. I haven't had a baby in almost 18 years, because my daughter be 18 in another year. And I was astonished at how much a doggone can of milk was. The last time I had a baby, a can of milk was probably like $5 or $6. A can of milk is darn near $10 for a can of milk. I mean, babies are expensive. Everybody is, the problem is, people are not schooling these young girls. People are making these young girls believe that they're glamorizing the struggle to these young females with being a mom and being a single mom. And what happens is, these young girls, they think it's cute till these children get here and they realize, damn, I really can't do what I want to do. I want to go to the mall, but I ain't got nobody to keep little Kiki. I want to get my hair done, but I ain't got nobody to keep little Joey. I want to go to the club. I ain't got nobody to keep my son, my daughter. And what happens too is, a lot of them, they have so many children to the point nobody wants to help them. It's one thing if you have one kid, but when you get this 2, 3, 4, and 5, the less support you're going to get. What's up, DT? Thank you for coming on in. That's true, Darnell. You have no guidance. That's the problem with a lot of these young mothers in the community, is that a lot of them, they put themselves in a situation of where they become trapped. They become trapped, because the thing is, when you go into having a child, you can't just look at one part. You can't just look at the fact that, okay, if I have this child, I'm going to get child support. I'm going to get housing. I'm going to get food stamps. Yeah, that's one, that's one aspect of it. But you got to look at the other aspect of it. Your life is not going to be yours anymore. Meaning you can't just up and go out with your girls when you want to. You can't just up and go to the mall. You can't just up and go out with your man. Once you have a child, that you don't have the room to do what you want to do, how you want to do it. And what is starting to happen is when these young girls find that out, you know what they say? They just say, F it. I'ma do me anyway. You know, I want to go to the club. So guess what? I'm gonna leave this baby unattended. I'm gonna leave this child by themselves. I want to go see my man. I want to do this. I want to do that. So what's starting to happen is a lot of these young females that are producing these babies and bringing these children into this world. What's starting to happen is a lot of them have just gotten to the point to where they just don't care. They don't care what they got to what they have to do in order to get what they want out the deal. If they have to leave a child in a hot car to go get their hair done, they're going to do that. If they got to throw their children in the oven just to get rid of them, they're going to do that. A lot of these young broads, they do not want the children that they're producing. At first it's cute, is fun and games. When they see they don't have a life and they see they can't do what they want to do, then they want to get rid of these children. And that's what's starting to happen. Like I said, with the female, her name was Lamora, who put both her children in the oven. The excuse she came up with as to why she put her sons in the oven. She said the reason she burnt her two sons alive was because nobody would keep her kids for her. No, she couldn't get nobody to keep her kids. Do you believe? I mean, can you believe that? That was her purpose of killing them. And that's what's starting to happen, y'all, because what's happening is a lot of these young girls, they're not ready to be mothers like that. They're not ready. They're nowhere near on that level of being a parent. And by the time they realize that, it's usually too late. They find out 3, 4 kids later that it's hard. My thing is, if it's hard with one child, why have two? Why have three? Why have four? That's what she said, Donnell. She said nobody in her family would keep her kids for her. That's why she killed them. That and I'm like, wow, really? Oh, absolutely, the boys. That and it does. It does take a village to raise these children. It does. But what happens with is a lot of these young girls, they have too many for people to try to help them. People could probably help you with one. Okay, it may be two, but that's still kind of pushing it. When you get to that second, third, fourth, and fifth, you kind of out of gas. When you start having too many children like that, the less people want to help you. You know, when I had my daughter, I just had her, you know, so I had got a lot of help from my family because it was just her and my in-laws. I didn't have no bunch of little ones. So whenever I wanted that space for myself and I wanted to do me or I wanted to go somewhere, I always had the advantage of being able to get somebody to keep her because it was just her. You know, but when you get to them, that second, third, and fourth, nobody wants to keep your children. And see, this is another thing a lot of these young girls are not understanding. Another reason is the reason why a lot of them are not getting support down there, the boys. Another reason why a lot of grandparents are not being involved, because let's face it, a lot of these young girls, they don't want nobody telling them what to do when it comes to their children. They do not like for anyone to tell them what to do. You're not going to tell me how to raise my child. You're not going to tell me I need to spank my child and discipline my child. These young girls, they are very ignorant. You know, they want you to keep their kids, but they want you to keep their kids when they want to go to the club or they want to do them or they want to get their hair done, but they don't want nobody telling them what to do with their children either. So that's another reason, y'all, why the village is no longer around helping to raise these children, because back then, you know, it's a stating that it takes a village to raise a child. But the thing about it is you got to allow the village to be there. These young girls, they don't want the parents there like that. If they do, if the parents are there, they want them there the way they want them to be. A lot of these young girls, they're very hard-headed, they're very ignorant, you know, they lack a lot of common sense and intelligence. A lot of these young girls, they don't want nobody telling them what to do with their child. My thing is with this female, I don't know why she could not call somebody to get this little girl. If you had to go get your hair done that bad, I mean, you couldn't call somebody or you couldn't reschedule to get your hair done. Or who's to say that, you know, I don't know the whole dynamics of the situation, but sometimes a lot of these young girls, they burn their bridges to where people don't want to keep their kids. If you're the type of parent, if somebody keep your child child for you, and you agreed that you would come back at a certain time to pick up that child, and you don't come back at a certain time to pick up that child, guess what? You don't burn a bridge. Because sometimes people try to be there for these young girls when they come to their kids. You know, they'll try to keep them, to try to alleviate them. But some of these young bras, they abuse it. They run it in the ground. You know, they don't know how to act. You said you drop a little JJ off and you'll be back at 9 o'clock to come pick them up because I got to go to work the next day. You don't come till 2, 3 in the morning to come get your child. Guess what? I'm not keeping your child anymore. A lot of these young girls will pull that crap. They will do it. DT, trying to get that government check, and the hustle is drying up. Yeah, it's definitely drying up. And the thing about it, DT, what's starting to happen is these females are finding out, these young girls, these young mothers are finding out stamps, welfare, and child support is not the solution to the problem, because at the end of the day, the burden is still on your lap. The burden is still on your lap. You still can't do what you want to do, how you want to do it. You know, it's going to be days you're going to be stressed out and you're going to want to be alone. You're going to want your me time, your alone time. But when you done set up here and unscrewed all type of guys and you got 6, 7 kids, nobody's not going to relieve you. Nobody's not going to alleviate you, you know, or you got this nasty attitude where, you know, if somebody tries to help you and be there for you and your child, you don't have a problem with biting the hand that feeds you. You don't have a problem with burning bridges. And a lot of these young girls are doing that. I know a lot of people who are grandparents and they would not keep their grandchildren because they don't like the way the parents are treating them when it comes to them trying to be there for their grandchildren. And I get it. You know, I have grandchildren. Well, my husband has grandchildren, put it that way. You know, and I have nothing against you know, my grandkids, you know, but at the same time I'm careful with how far I put myself out there, because these young girls sometimes they don't know when they running things in the ground. They don't have no boundaries. You know, you try to be there for them, you try to help them out and be there for your grandchildren, or you try to be there for your sons, because it's not just these girls. Let's face it, a lot of these young men, they having just as much babies as these girls are, you know. And what's starting to happen is the village do not want to help these parents because they're very ungrateful, they unappreciative, you know, and they don't know how to basically they don't know when to pull back. Some of them don't have no boundaries, they run it in the ground, you know. Thank you, Malia, for coming in. What's up, Jeremy? Appreciate you for stopping by. And B Dog, what's up, B Dog? Destroy every member of grandmas and grandparents that partook have now set back and now created rotten over. Yes, I agree. Everybody who's just coming in, I'm basically talking about how these young mothers, are like cancer to the community. I just posted earlier a little short video on a young lady by the name of, hell, I can't remember her name. Let's see if I pull her name up. It was going viral about this woman, and this woman from Georgia who left her child. Her name is, yeah, 𝐜𝐴𝐚'𝐬 Fowler. She basically gave 3 false different stories about her child, and come to find out she left her child in a hot car for 5 or 6 hours while she went to go get her hair done. And the baby ended up dying in process of it. The father is in the military and he was stationed somewhere else at the time, so you know they had to call him. His commander had to get in touch with him and let him know the bad news, so he had to leave where he was stationed and come down. And him not knowing what was going on at the time, he was checking on the mother of his child, thinking that something just happened to the baby because he really didn't know the situation. But he found out later on that basically his daughter died based on the mother of his child's negligence. She left that baby in a hot car for 5 to 6 hours just to go get her hair done. I'm a grown-ass woman and I can't even sit in the car for no. It's so hot out there. If you put a damn egg on the dashboard, it'll fry. That, I mean, everybody knows this weather is just too freaking hot, you know. And it's bad that a child who was defenseless was confined and trapped in a hot ass car, probably screaming and crying. She probably, I'm sure she didn't know what was going on. She probably was looking for her mama, looking for somebody to relieve her, you know. And it's so unfortunate that nobody saw this baby and nobody was able to rescue this child from having to die in such a heinous manner, because that's a slow death. That's a slow death. That wasn't a quick and instant death. That's the bad part about it. I can't even stay and sit in a place that's too hot for too long. Hey, I could be in a club, me and my husband could be out, and if it's too hot, I'm like, I got to get out of here. It's hot. I need to get some air. So this baby just was totally defenseless. She had no control over the situation, and this hood hag had the audacity to leave this baby in the car, and so she get her hair done, and then make it so bad. Don't you know, y'all, there was a relative who came by in the shop to see her. I think it was her cousin, just to holler at her. And the cousin asked her about the baby, right? They was like, where's, little mama, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so-and-so got her. That was your opportunity then to let the cousin get her while you got her hair done. That was her opportunity then. What's up, Harvey? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. That was her opportunity then to get somebody to get that baby. She sat up there and lied to the cousin. You use a sicko. I'm telling y'all, it's a lot of these young broads. They having these babies and they don't want them, because what they're starting to find out is food stamps, Section 8, housing, child support is not going to give them all the comfort they want. Because once you become a mother, your life does not belong to you. You can't do what you want to do as you want to do it. And as I stated, some of these young moms, they have so many children. Nobody wants to help them. Nobody wants to relieve them. You have 3, 4 little ones. Nobody not gonna keep no 3, 4 little monsters. I hate to call them little monsters, but nobody's not going to keep all your little ones for you, just for you to go to the club, just for you to, to go have a good time. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is, a lot of these children are dying, or they're being hurt. A lot of these babies are being neglected on the strength of these young girls' selfishness. And as I stated, a lot of it comes from the fact that, like I said, having sex is one thing. Anybody can have sex and screw. That's the easy part. And like I stated, a lot of these young women, they have this promiscuous behavior where they'll sleep with every Tom, Dick, and Daryl. But the problem is, when they get a little Daryl out of the situation, they don't want to deal with it. A lot of these young mothers, they like the benefits of being a mom, but they don't want to deal with the responsibilities of being a mother. They don't want to deal with the burdens of being a mother. Me personally, I could only speak for myself. When I had my first daughter, I realized how much it was. It was too much. It was too much. I've never been a type of female. I've never really had a whole lot of patience, with children, and when I find myself getting aggravated, when my daughter was only 6, 7 months old, and she was crying uncontrollably, and there was nothing I could do to console her and make her calm down, make her be quiet, because babies cry because that's their way of communicating. Babies scream, that's how they talk, that's how they communicate. And I realized, basically, my psyche, I couldn't handle it. I could not handle the pressures of being a mother. It was too much. And I found that out with one. It didn't take me to have 2, 3, 4, and 5 to figure out, oh, this is too much. It took one time for me. When I saw mentally I couldn't handle it, emotionally it was stressing me out, and the only thing was, I did have a good support system, because my mom always kept my daughter for me. And then, I had a lot of support. But the problem is, with these young girls, a lot of them, they don't have no support. And the reason why a lot of them don't have support, because they brought it on themselves. A lot of them, they don't want nobody disciplining their children for them. Back in the days, our parents let our grandparents discipline us. I knew when I was going to my grandmama or my granddaddy's house, I could get my behind whooped over there, just like I got my behind whooped at my mama's house. That's the way it was. Wherever you left your child at, that person had the right to whip your child's behind if your child got out of hand. These young moms now, they don't want nobody telling them what to do. They will get mad if somebody spanks their child. They'll get mad if somebody hollers at their child. But the crazy part is these young moms, they don't want nobody disciplining their children. But when their kids get out of hand on them and it's too much for them, they want to kill them. They want to hurt them. They want to throw them in trash cans. They want to stick them in ovens. Had you let Big Mama or Granddaddy spank little JoJo a long time ago, it never would have got to the point to where you would have got so stressed out you would have had to throw your children in the goddamn oven. The problem is they want to have, they don't mind having these children, but they don't want to deal with the burdens. Because let's face it, children could get on your damn nerves. They can really get on your nerves. Children are a blessing, but they are also a burden. And that's just the God's honest truth. Darnell said some chick should have just swallowed. Yeah, I agree with that. It's all the mom's fault. I have to make sure that child can grow in the body. Yes, of course, it's both parents, the boys. What's up, D brother? I ain't seen you in a long time. Where you been at? You been incarcerated? You been locked up or something? But yeah, the boys actually, yeah, it's both parents. But it's more these mothers, it's more of the mothers, and I'm gonna tell you why I blame the mothers more than anything. The reason why I'm giving these mothers a hard time, because at the end of the day, these babies are more our responsibility than it ever be anybody else's. Now, I understand in the perfect world, everybody says yes, these children, the mother and the father, both of them are supposed to be responsible. A woman shouldn't have to do it by herself. A man should be there. The truth of the matter is that all that's fairy tale. That's a Disneyland myth. The majority of the weight is on us. What's up, Trey One? Oh, you been locked up on the job. Okay. I ain't nothing wrong with that. I feel you, deep brother. Yeah. You know what, DT? I don't think it was a mental disorder with that. You know what I think? I think she just wanted to get rid of them. We have to stop making excuses, everybody. Let's stop talking about giving these young females these excuses. There ain't no mental disorder. There's nothing mental. Oh, that's what they want us to believe. What it is I done had all these kids being promiscuous and I don't want them. That's what's wrong with them. There's no mental disorder. We're not going to keep giving these young black mothers out here a pass, calling them, giving them saying it's an illness, it's a disorder, it's a mental malfunction. Ain't nothing wrong with these bras. If you could lay up there and you could spread your wings open and screw your back out, and mind you now, DT, this was her she had 3 kids now. So I can't give her no mental disorder. She knew just what she was doing. Whenever you lay down unprotected and you don't use any protection, you signing up to become a mother. That's how it is. Kids, you need family to help. And that's true, Malia. But as I stated before, the reason why a lot of these young girls don't get no support, and the reason why their families don't help them with their children, because these young mothers are hard-headed. They don't listen. They want people to keep their kids for them, but they don't want nobody disciplining their children. Come on now. Y'all know how these young girls are. Ain't nobody going to tell me what to do with my child. Ain't nobody going to tell me how to raise my child. Y'all know these young females, they do not listen. These young parents, they don't listen. They don't want, you can't want support, but then at the same time, you don't want nobody disciplining your children. It don't go that way. I tell if my daughter, she's only 17, she don't have any kids yet. And I made sure I got her on birth control because I know she's not ready to have children. My daughter is selfish as hell. She's not ready for no kids. And to be honest, I ain't ready to be a grandparent like that. You know, I made sure we took care of that because my daughter, she likes to do her. She likes to get her paycheck, go to the mall, blow her money. My daughter blows her check in 2.3 seconds. Does that sound like anybody that's ready to be a mother? I mean, like, for real. Family, can I help these young people? Can I help these young parents? Because these young parents, they don't listen. They ignorant. They don't respect what the village tries to tell them when it comes to these children. These young people now, these young parents, they don't want nobody telling them what to do with their kids, but they want somebody to keep their kids though. And that's the problem. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely thumbs up, everybody. I appreciate it. D brother says on my old street there were a lot of families. Now there's a lot of single mothers. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's where the community has dismantled. And again, I'm not knocking all single moms, but let's be honest. Let's look at the statistics. Most of these troubled youth, most of these troubled children, they come from single parent homes. Let's be honest, because that other parent is not there to balance it. You know, when you have one parent that's doing all the work, somewhere that child is going to be derailed. Because if that is one parent, that one parent that's working to pay all the bills, and other parents not involved or whatever the case is, that child is going to get lost in the sauce somewhere. Bottom line, you know, your single mom always working, never home to supervise what you're doing, you get in all kind of trouble. Or if you got one of them single mothers, she don't work, but she's always doing her, you know, she's in the club, she over here, she over there, she's always leaving you on your own, then you raising yourself. That's the thing about it, you know, and it's the single mothers of this generation. Single mothers back in the 50s and 60s, single mothers used to work together. Single mothers, you know, used to all you could get two, three females, and all of them were single, and all of them would live up under the same roof, and they all would help raise children together. These females today, they don't know nothing about working with other single women as a team, so all of their children could benefit. These females today, they are a totally different breed. This is the selfish, I want to do me, I want to do what I want to do generation. That's the thing with this. It would be nice for the village. I actually that's what needs to happen, DT. We need to go back to a village raising a child, but the problem is these young parents, they don't want nobody to help raising their children. They don't want nobody telling them what to do. They just want somebody to keep their kids. They just want somebody to babysit their kids. A lot of these young parents, when I mean say young, I'm talking about these young parents under the age of 30. These young men who are having all of these babies, these young females under 30 who are having all these babies, they don't want a village to help raise their children. They just want somebody to keep their kids, to go to the club, or for them to go do what they want to do. They don't want these children to be raised. They want somebody to keep their kids. And that's a big difference. There's a difference between allowing somebody to help you raise your children and somebody helping, letting you just want somebody to babysit your kids for you to do what you want to do. It's not the same thing. They say anything. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, deep brother, me and you on the same accord. They don't want the village. These young parents today, they do not want no village. They don't want nobody raising their children for them. And then some of them, it's a lot of grandparents. They love their grandchildren dearly, you know, but they can't be as involved as they would like to be because the daughter or the son is hard-headed as hell. You can't tell them nothing. You know, you try to tell these young people, oh, you try to tell them little things, you know, uh, so and so need to go to bed at a certain time. So and so, you need to feed them more better. You need to make better choices with feeding them the right types of food. These young people, the problem is, let me tell y'all what's the problem. The problem is these young people, once they get a child, they automatically think they are grown. They swear they're on the same level as you. You could have had children all your life, but the moment your child have a child, that child is automatically going to think they're on the same level as you. You're not going to be able to tell them nothing. You're not. You know, granted, like I said, I have grandchildren, you know, and I have grandkids, you know, and is my husband's, you know, from previous marriage, um his daughter has children and stuff, and I just know I'm the kind of parent. If I would be the kind of grandparent, if I see something out of pocket, I'ma say something about it. And because I know how I am, if I see something that I don't like, if I see something inappropriate, you bringing a child to my house, they don't have all of what they need, or you just want to drop the kids off over here so you go to the club, you can do this, you can do that. I know my mouthpiece, I'm going to end up saying something and it's going to cause problems. So what I do is I'm just one of them grandmothers. I grandmother from a distance, which means, if I see them, I'll play with them, I'll talk with them, I'll interact with my grandkids. But as far as keeping and taking them places, that part I'm kind of cautious of, because some of these young women, you can't tell them nothing when it come to their kids, and I'm just, I just always try to I don't put myself in situations where I don't really feel comfortable, because I know these young people these days, they really don't take what you say as you're trying to help them. They'll take it like you trying to run them, you trying to tell them what to do, you're trying to control them. So I just deal from a distance. You feel me? Um, but here's a system has push lies like the strong as a horse. Independence don't need a black man. This still sinks in. Yeah, and yeah, but and a lot of them are finding out though. You know, all this. I'm independent. I don't need a man. A lot of them do. Why you think these children are being burnt in the oven? Why do you think these children are being left out in a hot car to get their hair done? These women, they need some, they need, that's a cry just for help of, I need support. I need support. But again, you can't do nothing with anybody's mentality. And I'm sure that like this broad who left her baby in the car for 5-6 hours, like I said, her cousin came in the shop and saw her by herself and asked about the baby and said, where's so and so and so? That was her opportunity then to tell her cousin, could you please get so and so? I left her in the car to get some air, but you know, I don't feel comfortable with doing that. Could you please get her for a couple hours? Goddamn, somebody would have kept her. And that was her opportunity then. And she still left that baby in that car. That's the sad part about it. D brother, grandparents need to force their kids to raise their own children. Absolutely, I agree with that. D brother, you create monsters. I'm gonna tell all you grandparents out there. If you are a grandparent and you're listening to my chat right now, let me tell you something. Don't get in the habit of raising your grandchildren. You better be careful with doing that, because that's how you create. That's how come a lot of these parents are so sorry. They're sorry because they have gotten used to other people keeping their kids for them. And then when it's their turn to keep their own children, they don't have the patience for it. You have to be careful. As a grandparent, it's a difference between being supportive, and then there's a difference between you making it your responsibility. You have to be very careful doing that, because once these children get used to you keeping their kids, and now you tired, you frustrated, you can't take it no more. You tired of your grandkids coming every damn day. You tired of your grandkids coming every weekend. Now you need a break. And the moment you tell them no, I'm not keeping little JJ, I'm not keeping little JoJo today, they gonna jump off the deep end. And some of them are so spiteful, they'll hurt their own child just to prove a point to you that because you didn't keep my child, I'ma just go ahead and get rid of it. And that's gonna be on your conscience for the rest of your life. I'm telling you, these young parents today, their way of thinking is very dangerous. And you got to be careful with how you handle them. DT says it used to be bad parents. We used to use TV to babysit their child. Now social media. Oh, of course. I mean, let me tell you something. I mean, these little kids now, these parents will give these little kids their iPhones in a heartbeat for them to watch YouTube. These parents today, they're not giving their children books to read. They're not giving them coloring books. They're not where they could, learn how to use the coordinate with their hands and things of that nature. I mean, technology has ruined parenting, because these young parents now all they got to do is give them a tablet. All they got to do is give them a iPhone or something, just anything. Hold on one second, everybody. Got a quick call. Hello? Yeah, I had called just to check on you. I'm here to the house. I'm at home. I'm to the house. I'm home. Hello? I'm to the house. I'm telling you, I'm to the house. You need me to bring you something, or bring you one to back at Idaho? You mean red and white on Havisham? Oh, when that? Oh, okay. You want me to bring you one? Want me to bring you one? Okay. All right, I'm on my way. Let me put my pants and my shirt on. I'm coming. All right. Okay. Yep, everyone. But as I was stating, yeah, we're dealing with a whole nother generation of these these parents today, and it's very unfortunate that this young man had to find out. You could tell he was a good dad, and he had to find out why he was stationed somewhere else. He was, the father of the child was in the military, and unfortunately, he had to get the bad news. Wherever he was stationed at, his commander had to come to him and tell him the bad news. And my heart definitely goes out to the family that's suffering, that's going to suffer behind this broad's negligence of leaving her child in a hot car for 5 to 6 hours. The only thing I can say about this whole situation here is just get ready, y'all. Don't even let this, you're going to hear 1,000 stories about these young parents out here doing this. It's going to be, don't let it depress you. Don't consume it. Don't let it eat you alive, because this is just the beginning. You're going to hear more and more and more stories. It's a young lady right now who's seeing all of these young girls that are killing babies, leaving them in hot cars or hurting them or harming them, and she can very well turn around and put herself in the same situation. A lot of these young people, they are so hard-headed, they are not looking at other situations and circumstances around them. They're not trying to learn from other parents or from other people their age who hasn't made the best decisions. They're not trying to learn from those around them. So the sad part is this is going to continue to keep happening. I don't see it getting any better. I see it getting worse. We're going to hear a lot of stories about these young parents that are under 30, these teenagers. We're going to hear plenty of stories about them leaving their child alone. We're going to hear plenty of stories about them hurting their children. We're going to keep hearing stories about it. I've heard stories about a young man. I remember this case. He left his twins in the car all night, and they died because he was getting laid. He was getting some, you know, and he left his children. He left both his kids in the car all night. So y'all just get ready. Just be prepared. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down because I'm getting all kind of calls. But I appreciate everybody for viewing and tuning in. It is your girl, Lady Mocha. And I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and break you off a slice of knowledge. And y'all have a good day. And just hit my notification bell because I'm going to be uploading something else again today. Talk to y'all later. Bye.